refugees should be seen as people, as human beings, as people with potential, as contributors to the society. These are people who have come with overcoming so many adversities, in the case of majority of them, so many traumas over many, many years. My name is Waheed Arian. I'm accident emergency doctor in the National Health Service UK. I am a former Afghan refugee. I'm also founder of Arian Wellbeing, which is a online mental health service which provides highly qualified specialist services to everyone, combining psychological therapies and exercise. I was born in the midst of Afghan-Soviet conflict in the mid-80s. I only have two happy memories that I can remember from the first 5 years. One was being taken to a local park by my mother to have an ice cream. And another one was when my father, he came in his military uniform to give me a big kite, and then for him to suddenly disappear from our lives. The rest of my memories consist of seeing soldiers outside, tanks on the streets, helicopter gunships and the jets in the sky. Most of the time we were hiding in cellars from the daily rockets and the bombs, the shellings. So they decided to migrate to Pakistan. We travelled through mountains, to valleys, rivers, very dangerous route that we came under the attack 3 times before we made it to Pakistan. The people were very welcoming in Pakistan, but sadly the conditions in the refugee camps were absolutely inhumane. As a family of 8, we were living in one muddy room with temperatures rising up to 45 degrees Celsius. Within 3 months was that I started coughing, and I was coughing to the extent that I even brought up blood. I was so weak that I could hardly walk. They took me to a local doctor and he referred me to a specialist, and he then broke the bad news to my father that I had tuberculosis, and it was advanced, and I survived tuberculosis. After 1.5 years, I went back to the same doctor on my last visit. So he gave me a stethoscope and a black and white textbook, and he said, son, I think you will be a doctor one day. So we went back to Afghanistan, and I really wanted to pursue my dream now to become a doctor. Sadly, the civil war broke out. When I turned 15, it was an age where my life was at risk. I was at that age that I could have been taken to the army and sent to the front line, and that meant actually a death sentence. My parents agreed that they would send me away. Fleeing from Afghanistan was not straightforward. I couldn't get a visa. So my father, he sold everything, and we thought that they were getting us a refugee visa. But in fact it wasn't. As soon as I landed in the UK, I was arrested. I was handcuffed, sent to Young Offenders Institution because of the journey that I had taken. There was a kind barrister who argued in the court that refugees shouldn't be prosecuted. Asylum seekers shouldn't be prosecuted because of the journeys and the manners they take. My case was successfully dropped out of the court and my asylum started. But sadly, that is nowadays what's happening, is that refugees, forcibly displaced people, they are being weaponized, they are criminalized, they're politicized. I was self-studying English, GCSE books, to get myself up to a level where I could go to college. And then I went to one of the medical universities and I asked them, how do you become a doctor? I just simply asked that question from the admissions office. And they said, okay, we need the A-level grades. And I continued working hard during the day, studying in different colleges until I achieved the 5 A grades required to get to university. So I started medicine at Cambridge in 2003, graduated with the first of my research in 2006, and came to Imperial College in London to complete my clinical studies. When I graduated as a doctor in 2010, I felt that there was more I could do to the community, the more I could do to help people in the community. So in search of solving this problem of how I could take this expertise to low-resource countries, I came across telemedicine, which is basically providing healthcare advice online. And that became the foundation of the humanitarian work, the charity that I founded, Teleheal, which connects specialists from the National Health Service in the UK and across the world to medics in low-resource countries. They communicate with each other, they advise each other, they learn from each other. At the same time, they promote peace, dialogue. And regardless of their background, regardless of the fact that they have so many cultural barriers, but behind technology, it's the collective compassion, empathy, was something that connects humans together. This big mission to be able to provide these high-quality mental health services to everyone in need, whether refugees, migrants, or non-refugees. We can't just come up with one solution and take that to every person regardless of the background, because we all have different backgrounds. And when it comes to mental health, our backgrounds can really impact what sort of symptoms we have, what risk factors we have, what coping mechanisms we have, and hence being culturally appropriate and is really important. And so is trauma-informed, that for a lot of people, trauma is a key component to all these problems. By telling my story, by writing my memoir, and the humanitarian work I do and mental health work I do, the bigger message that I'm giving, and I hope to give, is a message of hope, a message of resilience, a message of not giving up on life, and a message of compassion that we can reach to each other, regardless of our circumstances, regardless of backgrounds, and we can actually heal each other.